This is 210 Local Music Podcast. We bring art, music, and entertainment to you straight from the Alamo City in San Antonio, Texas, where the culture of our past and the innovation and creativity of tomorrow collide. We're there. You can find us online at www.210localmusic.com, on Twitter, and don't forget to like our fan page on Facebook. Here's your host, Mario Zamarron.
Thanks for tuning in to 210 Local Music Podcast, Episode 2. This episode, I had a chance to speak with the members of Pinata Protest just before they took the stage at the After Rad Concert, held at the Freeman Coliseum, where they opened for the Spasmatics. I definitely want to thank the guys for allowing me the time to speak with them about their musical influences, their upcoming tour, and their musical backgrounds. I also want to take this opportunity to especially thank Faith Rattle, also for allowing me this time with the guys. This was my first live on-site recording, so please forgive me for a little bit of poor quality on my part. I did use two different microphones, so hopefully I was able to get most of the conversation. There is a little bit of wind, though, as we were standing behind some food trucks in the area. So, without further ado, here's Pinata Protest.
Well, let's start from the beginning. I know you guys personally because we've worked together through Ortiz Media when we did the video for Sight Unseen. That was an awesome experience, by the way. You guys are an amazing live band. Let's start off with names and instruments.
Marcus Gossner, I play the bass.
JJ Martinez, I play drums.
Alvaro del Norte, accordion and singer.
Matthew Cáceres, guitar.
All right, and you guys didn't start playing those instruments right off the bat. You started with a bass, right?
Yeah, well, in school, actually, I was a trumpet player in band, but then when I started getting into rock and roll, I started with bass, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I started same thing, trumpet player, and then kind of picked up the guitar like in junior high or something like that.
And JJ, I know you from Info NXX when we used to work there together.
Yes.
You were playing drums back then anyway, right? You had already picked that up?
Yeah, I played in middle school and high school as well, marching band, all percussion. Yeah, I was a drummer. I've been a drummer since I started learning. I would say my whole life.
I'm joining the bandwagon. I started the trumpet and then went to bass. So yeah, we were all like band nerds.
Yeah.
Band nerds.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I still use things that I learned in band, you know, in this band.
Yeah.
Your basic music theory, I mean, yeah, it definitely gets used.
And how about you studied under Juan Tejera?
Yeah, when I first picked up the accordion, yeah, he was my first accordion teacher.
What made you decide to go to the accordion?
I couldn't find any accordion player for the band, and so I had to pick it up myself. You know, did what I had to do.
And guys, you started off, you were at the Holy Cross, right?
Yeah, we went to Holy Cross, huh?
Yeah. And you know, a lot of people that come from Holy Cross are attorneys now and judges.
Oh yeah, there you know.
So what happened?
This happened.
Well, you guys have definitely stepped it up. A lot more shows, I noticed, a lot more tours. You guys are having an upcoming tour with Guttermouth and Reverend Horton Heat. When does that start? Reverend Horton Heat specifically.
Mid-August. Yeah, mid-August.
Great. All right, that's great. Out of curiosity, if you guys never made it in music, what would you be doing? We'll start.
Doing right now is changing tires at a discount tire.
So you guys all still maintain
Regular
jobs?
job, full-time jobs, yeah.
Okay. JJ, where are you at now?
I work at a hospital, actually. I'm an x-ray technologist. I got my x-ray degree and stuff. I'd be doing that. I mean, full-time.
And it's always hard to have a backup anyway,
Yep.
but I honestly don't think you guys need a backup, but I think you guys will make this happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What did you guys grow up listening to? I know probably 90s punk, 90s
Oh, yeah.
rock. Not 90s punk, I guess a little bit before that, but
Yeah, I mean,
A little bit of everything.
yeah, everything.
Metal, yeah, even not even hip-hop music.
Yeah.
Like a lot of that stuff.
I mean, yeah, the early 90s, you figure you had like Ice Cube, Eazy-E, and all that Cali, you know, the hip-hop coming out. That was a big influence. I mean, not influence, but I mean, something we grew up with.
Stay tuned for the rest of my interview with the guys from Pinata Protest and more info on next week's show.
Interested in being the focus of a broadcast? Contact us at 210localmusic@gmail.com or info@210localmusic.com. And don't forget to like our Facebook page.
If you're interested in advertising with 210 Local Music Podcast, please contact me at 210localmusic@gmail.com. You can also find me on Square at www.squareup.com/market/210-local-music.
This is Michelle Celeste, and you're listening to 210 Local Music Podcast.
You're listening to 210 Local Music Podcast, Episode 2. Let's tune back in and find out what Pinata Protest says their ultimate goal is, their musical guilty pleasures, and the best thing about their fans.
I don't think any of us thought we'd get to any of this, you know what I mean? And it's still growing, which is pretty cool.
It's just all for fun. Taking it day by day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Going with it.
And we can make some money and, make a living out of something we love. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to do something they love for a living, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What are some of your guilty pleasures? Stuff that you don't really want to admit to very many people. Okay, let's go to something that you would barely admit. How about that? Something that...
I got one. I was a huge Green Day fan, and I know they're not, frowned upon by a lot of people, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Pre-Dookie or post-Dookie?
post and pre. But man, I love their music, their earlier stuff for sure, and it was an influence on me, especially Billy Joe's stage presence and stuff. When a band was first starting off, to get over my nerves, I'd pretend in my mind to be Billy Joe Armstrong. Honestly, and it worked.
Hey, as long as it works, right? Do you guys do the same thing, or you have to find that center?
No. I mean, I think now as we've been doing it pretty often, and shows getting bigger. I mean, yeah, you get a couple of, nerves here and there, but not so much anymore. I mean, it's like it's second nature. We're comfortable with it, right?
We're comfortable as this group too. It took a while for us to actually get that tight knit that we have now. I mean, it didn't take that long, but we're at that point where we're comfortable. Get on the stage and tear it up.
Awesome.
It's really fortunate.
And JJ, you were just looking through your iPod. Did you find anything?
No, I didn't, actually.
No Mariah
Yeah,
Carey in
but
there?
we've all been we can admit we've all been Korn fans and Limp Bizkit, that 90, that new metal, whatever.
I kind of actually like Paramore.
There you go.
Yeah, don't tell anybody that.
Off the record.
That sounds good. Let's talk a little bit about Girl Nicole. You guys hang out with them constantly.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about their musical influence that you guys think that you share? Because obviously for you guys to be such good friends with them, you have to have kind of an even keel with your influences, where you're going, what you're listening to.
I know for sure they're big, huge Nirvana fans, and I love Nirvana.
So that would probably be the big common vein?
Yeah, the biggest.
As far as music goes, yeah.
Morrissey, the Smiths.
Yeah.
I like Beatles.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're big fans of that.
So if you could get out behind the drums, would you dance like Alvaro all over the place?
All the time,
Crazy.
man. He does all the time.
You kind of dance on the drums. I bet if you marked where they started, they wouldn't end up in the same spot.
Hey man, if I hear Cumbia, I'll be out there. Most definitely.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about best tour memories.
I guess, a good experience for me was playing the House of Blues for the first time in Hollywood. I was working sound check. And I was sitting there now, everybody else up there doing their thing. And it's like, what the hell am I doing in Hollywood? I would have never imagined myself sitting in the House of Blues waiting to play a show.
Yeah, that's, at almost like a 500 to 700 capacity, something like that,
And that was a great experience for me and my part. I think for me, I can't think of a specific moment, but every time we go back to a city we've already been to, and to see somebody come back wearing our T-shirt or singing along to our lyrics, that is that means a lot. It's something special. It's a feeling that you really
can't explain.
Yeah.
You just don't want to leave somebody
That familiarity.
like their music that much that they can come out like that. And more than they're repeating. They keep coming. It's just amazing.
Awesome.
I think my favorite one is hitting up a brand new city for the first time, and playing in front of people who never caught you live before, and then just watching their reaction, and it being a positive one. That's like, I love that. That's great. Totally winning them over, and that to me is like, fuck yeah. That's like the littlest moment in the whole show is that right there. Like, to me, that's the biggest one, the most important one.
Awesome. How about worst tour experience? Anybody get?
Getting stranded in the desert, man. When I was driving, pedals lock up. We didn't even know if it overheated, nothing. I mean, there was no signs of anything. The van just stopped in the middle of the road, and for a good, 30 minutes, we were just on the side of the road trying to figure out how we were going to get to the next town.
GPS wasn't working because there was no internet service or no phone service.
Yeah, in the middle of the
You guys
desert.
are like New Mexico or Phoenix?
Right
or
between there, like somewhere.
It was,
New Mexico, North New Mexico. North New Mexico. Yeah.
Middle of nowhere. Believe
Middle of nowhere. But yeah.
it or not, that was actually a pretty cool show. We played up in this small town.
I know we don't have a whole lot of time left, so let's go ahead and talk about your newest release, El Valiente.
I think for me it's just shows our variety, and I think it captures our sound for sure a lot better than the first album. That we're fucking, we're real.
Yeah, no, definitely real proud of it. I mean, because like you said, the first album was kind of a mess with changing members and, and whatnot. This one, we've had this lineup solid, and we actually got a good solid recording from, our first time working with a real producer and whatnot, Well, I mean, not a real producer. I mean, we've worked with other ones, but, one that actually kind of worked with us, in the way that we can understand. Yeah, exactly, and not change anything of what we, make as far as our music.
All right, well, I know you guys are out of time, so thank you very much for all your time.
Man, absolutely.
Hope to get to talk to you again soon. Take care.
Thanks again for tuning in to episode 2 with Pinata Protest. Next episode, I'll be sitting with Michelle Celeste, the tour manager for Girl in a Coma. We'll talk about stories from the road, the girls, as well as trouble that Michelle gets into quite often. And this is the first of a 3-part interview. Thanks again, and be sure to subscribe, comment, and rate on iTunes. You can also find us on Stitcher Radio and Podmatic. And you can follow us on Twitter at 210 Local Music. Take care.